What's up? I'm Captain Mel Asylum, and here's another sip of Galactic tea. What's up? I'm Mel Asylum, author of many books, Unreading the System, and soon to be many more books. And I'm going to talk about Star Trek Starfleet Academy because I am excited about this show. Of course I am. And I'm not just biased because I'm a parent, female, a little overweight, a person of color, but because it kind of embodies everything that Star Trek's supposed to be in a different way. We've gotten to see the exploration aspect. We got to see them go to war. We got to see them use the tools that was given to them that they built from the apocalypse of World War III to better human knowledge, human exploration, the lifestyles of people. We don't have starvation. We don't have war with amongst each other because part of that is because we don't have prejudices. And Starfleet Academy kind of turns that around and teaches us how we learn these philosophies, or it teaches the philosophies. And I think it was so funny when one of the characters said, "Why is everything gotta be a lesson with you?" And she's like, "Cause it's a school." And other than that, I'm gonna try not to do any spoilers. This is just going to be about what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and opening with what it is about. Kids going to school in the Star Trek universe. So we are being schooled on what builds the philosophy of Star Trek, what we built up from that destruction of World War III and the genetics wars, and how we got to see that there are things bigger than our little petty issues. That brings up one of the things that I didn't like about this show, which has almost nothing to do with the show. It is the trolls online saying that it's bad for some reason, probably because they won't let go of their prejudices, and they think that these prejudices are supposed to be eradicated in the future, like homosexuality, body types. A lot of people didn't feel it necessary to bring up the body types, especially people who don't feel that some of the body types are issue. However, I had just finished watching Deep Space Nine before watching Starfleet Academy, and the entire time I'm just noticing how bone tiny, skinny these women are. Like, nobody has any type of girth. Like, Cassidy had a little tiny bit of booty. That's about it. Like, everyone is so unnecessarily skinny in a world where there is no famine. Like, okay, Major Kira probably because they just came out of war and their apocalypse basically. But other than that, like, some people are just bigger. Like, what are you supposed to do? Control people's food while they have the freedom to replicate food at a moment's, like, what? How make it make sense? You can't. You can't make that make sense. Like, you can either have Wally or you can have Logan's Run. What too much of a rant on that. Star Trek has always been about women in space, people of color in space. It has always pushed the boundaries of what was the norm. And I say it that way because a lot of things are normal. LGBTQ, normal. However, whether it's acceptable by that society is a whole nother story. Or it means that you're going to be a bully about it, probably. Yeah. What I liked about Star Trek Starfleet Academy was basically the philosophy and how storytelling is used to do that. And a lot of people are complaining that it's going to be like a 91210, but Star Trek themed, and I'm like, okay. But like, it also reminds me of Naruto. It also reminds me of pretty much any other school-themed show because they're in a school with a bunch of teenagers. Some of them are teenagers, like Caleb is 21, but like he has no home training, obviously, because he was only raised with a parent until he was 6. He's been on his own. One of the greatest parts of this storytelling, especially when it comes to the backstory of the characters, is showing what people need to be in a healthy society, which is physical, mental, and emotional support. Some of them, all of them have come into this situation where they want to better themselves. They have goals, but they're lacking in at least one of those things. We have some kids who come from privilege but are lacking emotional support. Some kids are, like Caleb, is lacking in physical and emotional support. Now, he has the emotional support. He's lacking in physical support, and he is very smart. So it is the basic needs, the roof over your head, the food in your tummy. Like, kids who grow up with that, they're going to lack. Kids that grow up with a lack of emotional support are going to lack, no matter how much money their parents have, no matter how good their house was, no matter what type of education they were provided with or stuffed in their faces with. If you don't have that emotional support, that community, they're going to be they're going to have issues. And we all have those issues. And they're trying to set up things for people to fully get those. And the chancellor that's her goal, to balance these kids out, to not just teach them to use their skills, but to teach them how to use them as a community. And being a Starfleet officer, even in all of the other Starfleets and Next Generation, so from the original to Voyager, all the ones that people say are the real Star Trek, they're all family. So we have to take these kids who are in a post-apocalyptic, destructive post-apocalyptic world and teach them how to grow as a community and a family so that they can build up to being that awesome flagship crew that we grown up to love. So I think a lot of these things just go right over the heads of a lot of people. And I wrote notes and wanted to say what I liked about it and what I don't like about it. I don't think I can do that. I think I have to say both of them. I have to say I like this and I don't like this, and then go on to another thing that I like and go on to another thing I dislike. But Sam is a character who comes without any of the knowledge. She's just born. She's a clean slate. And I love her. She is not just the character that I've always related to, which was the character trying to figure out humanity, learn to be a human, like Spock, like Data, like T'Pol, like Odo, like Seven of Nine, like let's just go through all of them. So yeah, she's that character. And the doctor, obviously, and he is there. She's a clean slate learning that, and I relate to her not just because she's a woman of color, but 19-year-old me going to college, learning to do things on my own, explore the world, interact with other people without anything over my head. So just imagine her as a early 2000 goth, like emo aesthetic, but not quite aesthetic, because emo wasn't really truly a thing when I was in college yet. It was like merging. It was around, but I didn't know about it really. I was more of a goth, so I still am. But 19-year-old me in 2002 would have been her, but goth. Okay, so I was very sheltered. So even though I have a lot of knowledge, I don't have the experience of really hanging out with friends, trusting people. She gets that. Caleb also has that type of experience, probably more with the having a life experience, but not knowing how to interact with other people. I think he reminds me more of my son, who I call my ship's engineer, and he is very smart. I'm not just saying this because I'm his teachers keep telling me all the time. But he's very smart. But interacting with other kids is not necessarily his forte, and it's not that he has trauma behind it. Because I've encouraged it. Like, I was a preschool teacher before he was born. At 3 years old, he was in the class across the hall from me. So he's okay. He's just not interested. And he's also enormously handsome. My son is very handsome, and Caleb is. Like, let me remind myself, this child is half my age. The chancellor and I noticed the doctor. Their goal in teaching these students is to let them figure it out. Give them the tools they need to figure it out. Because if you simply give them everything, they don't get anything out of it. So even though we can give people warp drive, we can give them dilithium crystals. If you understand, you understand. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to do the right thing with it. It doesn't mean that they know how to use it. That doesn't mean they know what to do. That doesn't mean they know anything. So you can take it, more from my understanding, if you take a child who hasn't had any of their needs met, or one of their needs just not met at all, and you simply give it to them, that doesn't fix the fact that they've lived their whole lives without it. Like, there's still trauma there. There's still some things that need to be worked out. In my podcast, Voices in Hyperspace, we talked about this a little bit, where, like, if we simply just give Caleb a ship and a crew and sent him off to go find his mom, is he going to find his mom? Is he going to come back? Is that going to fix everything? Him finding his mom going to fix anything? Because him and his mom may just go back to living the way they were. Being in situations where they might have to kill somebody to eat. It doesn't fix their problem. She's trying to give them that community that fixes his problem. And him being 21 doesn't mean you just respect what he says that he wants. You can't respect him. Obviously, he's a human being. He's a living person. In this case, because of Star Trek, we're talking about not just humans. But his life needs to be more than that. His safety, what he wants isn't just his mom. He wants to be safe with his mom, but he doesn't know how to do that because he's never lived in a world where that existed. So I've said that I could talk all day about Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, and I've only saw 3 episodes, and I haven't even talked about the actual storyline. I'm just talking about the philosophy. So, again, as a parent, as a former educator, and because a lot of the things that are being implemented in Star Trek, Starfleet Academy when it comes to the philosophy of teaching people is not how our school system is, and that is very frustrating. Also, I was never really interested in teaching. It's something like the adults around me had me doing when I was a kid, and I end up like, hey, at least I get paid for it, and I'm not hurting anybody. Even though my philosophy of education is completely contrast to how the school system actually is, which I think does actually hurt children. That's why I paused, because I don't think I didn't do any harm, because I did proceed in a system that simply gives answers and expect those answers out of them instead of teaching them how to learn. Because if you don't learn how to learn, you don't know how to adapt to change in your life. And the only consistent in the universe is change. So I spent about an hour writing the script, and I barely touched it. I am Mel Asylum, author of Unrooting the System and soon to be Theory of Rebellion again. I'm going to republish it. And if you like the things that I talk about here, you may like the things that are in here. As an author, as an indie author, I've been online meeting other indie authors, and a lot of them sci-fi authors who grew up loving Star Trek. And a lot of them took the idea of what they learned from it and what inspired them from it to create. And not just other writers like me, but cosplayers, podcasters, illustrators, people doing creative things are making new art that expands from what they took from Star Trek and other works that try to teach us about ourselves. And when I see the trolls online, one of the biggest complaints about Star Trek and Star Wars is that it's not their Star Trek, not their Star Wars. No, it's not. And you didn't even try. These people go online and complain instead of making their own. Like, I've watched teen shows like all the things that people are reminded of when they see Starfleet Academy, and thought, like, I kind of like this. I like something about it, but a lot of it doesn't really reflect me. It's not my world. So I wrote my own. It'll be out sometime this year. I'm going to republish it. I wrote my own. I wrote something that reflected my story, because the story that someone else tells isn't the only story worth being told. And to skip that, to think that the only possible thing for you is what's already been given, means that you're not contributing. And it's hardening. Like, I spent years thinking that I didn't deserve to be a writer, and I was depressed. And that depression didn't go away until I started writing. And even failures in selling or publishing has not brought me back to that depression that I was in when I thought I shouldn't be writing. This is one of the biggest lessons that Star Trek Starfleet Academy or Star Trek in general teaches us. Letting people know that there is a place for you, the way you are, and the story that you can tell, the engineering that you can build, anything. It's all necessary, and you hinder yourself by not doing it. So yeah, now I'm going to end this video. If you've gotten this far in this video, you may enjoy the Voices in Hyperspace, where me and some friends get together and talk about science fiction. I also have a book called Unrooting the System, available on Amazon. Go get yours. It's also on Unlimited, so if you want to read it for free, you can. And I would absolutely love to read your reviews and respond to them.